done a lot of work on method validations, and we have done the various experiments which are involved with method validations. This is sort of incorporating all of that, and it is a very short and simple presentation, and you'll be amazed. Those of you who are already familiar with this topic know how simple it is. It is just the name which is sort of complex, but those of you who are not aware of it, be amazed that it is such a simple tool and why you have not been using it for so long. So let me continue with my talk. Actually, why? Okay, so let me come to the objectives. First, we're going to see what is sigma metrics, how we can calculate the sigma metrics of any assay which we are doing or of any process. We will discuss the benefits of calculating sigma metrics. We will look at some online tools and calculators for this purpose. We will see how we can plot sigma metrics. And finally, we will talk about Westgard Sigma QC rules. Okay, so what is sigma metrics? What is sigma metrics? Sigma metrics actually जो है, it's a management tool by which आप अपने किसी भी process का quality monitor कर सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं, and the purpose is that you identify your defects and you remove the causes of those defects. And by this way, you can minimize the variability or the errors or the changes which are occurring in your process. So your DMAP का जो diagram नीचे है, this is Six Sigma process को आपको identify करता है कि you basically start with defining your quality goal या आपका process, and then you measure कि आपके क्या inputs हैं, आप analyze करें कि आपके क्या defects आ रहे हैं, you improve, you control, and then the process continues because it is a continuous improvement program. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by Six Sigma when you say six and you say sigma? What do these two words mean? Sigma क्या identify करता है? Sigma actually shows your benchmarking scale. From a scale of 1 to 6, quality का scale आप define करते हैं, and the higher you are on the scale, the better. It is a benchmarking scale to monitor your quality of any process. And by 6 you mean that 6 standard deviations or 6 SDs should fit into your allowable error limits. जो भी आपने define किया हुआ है कि आपका ये limits हैं, आपके process इतना अच्छा होना चाहिए that 6 SDs should fit into that process. This is what I mean by this. This is a normal Gaussian curve, just say all of you must be aware, right? This is the mean, the central line is the mean. ये 1 SD है, ये 2 SD हो गया. 1 SD के अंदर 68% of the population of the values lie within the 1 SD limits. 2 SD के अंदर 95% of the values would lie in a normal distribution. और 3 SD के अंदर 99.7, which means almost all of the results. अब 6 sigma जो होगा वो 6 SDs जो है वो आपके fall करेंगी within your limits. That means hardly any value would fall outside the target limits. So this is a Six Sigma method, a Six Sigma process, which is highly precise and of a world-class quality, जिसको हम कहते हैं. So, sorry, Sigma metrics जब आप कहते हैं, what you're identifying is defects per million opportunities. How many defects or how many errors lie outside of those error limits जिसको हमने define किया था. Six Sigma is world class और इसमें there would be just 3.4 defects per million opportunities. This is a sort of a chart which shows कि जो 1 sigma होगा, 1 sigma में errors कितने होंगे? 69% errors होंगे approximately, and 31% of the time you would be within the range, and the defects would be almost 7 lakh per million. ठीक है? जैसे जैसे आपका सिग्मा किसी प्रोसेस का improve होता जाएगा, you see at the Six Sigma level, you have just 3.4 defects per million opportunities and 99.9997% of your results or your values are within the defined targets. So this is supposed to be a world-class quality. अच्छा, sigma metrics जो है ना, या sigma scale जो है, this is used in industry as well. In fact, initiate industry से हुआ था. All the processes can be defined on the sigma scale. Labs में या clinical laboratories में sigma का concept तकरीबन 20 years का है, 2 decades का है. 2000 में तकरीबन first time sigma के related metrics जो है वो lab processes पर apply होना शुरू हुए थे. So how do you determine, या how do you calculate sigma? कोई unmute करके बता सकता है? Okay, let me continue. Sigma के calculate करने के ना, there are two ways by which you can calculate sigma. एक तो as I said processes का sigma हो सकता है, ठीक है, तो जिसमें आप defects पता करते हैं कि आपके overall process में defects कितने थे. Process से क्या मतलब है? You know that when we talk about any test, we supposed to talk about the total testing process, जिसमें आपके pre-analytics भी आ रहे हैं, post-analytics भी आ रहे हैं. Now everybody is working towards quality and accreditation. ISO 15189 के ही series के ऊपर ये हमारे course है. So उसमें भी हमें पूरा total testing process cover करना होता है. So process के अंदर pre-analytics भी आ जाते हैं. Pre-analytics में बहुत सारे ऐसे चीजें हैं जिसमें हम जिसको defects या जिसको ऐसे KPI monitor कर रहे होते हैं. For example, turnaround time. Turnaround time ऐसा process है जिसको हम लोग सब हमारे monitor कर रहे होते हैं, measure कर रहे होते हैं. And we know that, for example, हमने एक benchmark बनाया हुआ है कि 97% of the tests should fall within our identified TAT, या 95%, whatever. And then we monitor कि how many tests have we reported outside our TAT. So जितने हमने tests हमारे TAT के beyond, turnaround time के beyond report किए होंगे, that is our defect, right? Then we calculate कि TAT के beyond हमने जितने calculate किए versus total requests कितनी आई थी. How many? What was the denominator? The numerator would be the defects, the outliers, the tests which are reported outside the TAT, and the denominator would be the total requests जिस पर आप TAT calculate करें. And then you would translate this into पर मिलियन डिफेक्ट, पर मिलियन डिफेक्ट्स कितना हुआ, और वो उसको आपको एक सिग्मा जनरेट हो जाएगा. So that is for your processes. ठीक है, you count the defects and calculate by the sigma charts. I will show you. और अगर ये तो processes की बात हो गई, and when you come to the analytical part में आप defect कैसे identify करेंगे? For example, as I say that you are generating glucose result and you give a result of 180 to a patient. ठीक है, now how do you know what is the defect or what is the error in that result? Because आपको patient की true value तो नहीं पता. So you will judge that glucose का sigma by judging the quality of the processes or your performance specifications of the glucose assay. ठीक है? So there is a sigma equation by which you can do that. अब हमने टैट की बात की, फॉर एग्जांपल प्रोसेसेस के लिए कि आपका डिजायर्ड टैट क्या था, टोटल टेस्ट कितने थे, नंबर ऑफ रिजल्ट्स आउटसाइड योर टैट या आउटसाइड योर डिफाइंड टाइम जितने फॉल किए, वो आपका डिफेक्ट्स हो गया. सो यू विल कैलकुलेट डिफेक्ट्स पर मिलियन एंड यू विल कैलकुलेट योर सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स. अब इसके लिए आई विल शो ये वेस्टगार्ड की साइट से मैंने बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन इसके लिए लिया है. वेस्टगार्ड में इस तरह के कैलकुलेटर्स मौजूद है. कैन यू सी माय स्क्रीन? ओके, सो ऑन दिस स्क्रीन यू कैन सी कि ये वेस्टगार्ड की साइट है एंड there is this calculator over here. You enter your defects and you enter your sample size and will calculate your defects per million and calculate your sigma matrix. For example, if you have 15 tests जो आपने in a certain time period आपके late हो गए थे, आपका denominator कुछ भी है, whatever, और आपने कह दिया calculate sigma, it will calculate. So this is a very easy way of doing it for your processes. ठीक है? And यहाँ पर इसने ये बताया हुआ भी है, एक ये कैप का क्यूब प्रोब हुआ था. क्यूब प्रोब इस अंदर सारे लैब्स जो पार्टिसिपेट करी थी उनको उन्होंने कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछे थे. And these were the results of a क्यूब प्रोब सर्वे. ये इनके जो डिफरेंट टेस्ट ऑफ ऑर्डर एक्यूरेसी हो गया, आपका कितने आपके टाइम के बियॉन्ड ऐसे से डुप्लीकेट टेस्ट ऑर्डर, जो प्रोसेसेस के एरर्स हो सकते हैं, तो जनरली लैब के सिग्मास क्या थे. ठीक है, सो दिस इज प्रोसेसेस के लिए आप सिग्मा इस तरह डिफाइन करें. एनालिटिक्स का भी इसके अंदर आ रहा है, व्हिच आई विल जस्ट टेल यू. ठीक है, सो ये हमने प्रोसेसेस की बात की. देन व्हेन यू कम, एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई शोड यू, द वेस्टगार्ड कैलकुलेटर्स. एनालिटिकल फेज में आप कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? देयर इज अ सिग्मा इक्वेशन व्हिच यू कैन फॉलो. सो दिस इज अ सिग्मा इक्वेशन. देयर आर टू वर्जन्स टू इट. सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स जिसमें ये तीन टर्म्स यूज हो रही हैं, टोटल अलाउएबल एरर, बायस और एसडी. और नीचे वाले में बायस के बजाय सीवी है. द फर्स्ट वन इज इन द एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू एंड द नीचे वाले में देयर इज अ परसेंटेज. So the three terms, total allowable error, bias and CV, right? So what is the total allowable error? I hope all of you must have attended Dr. Amir's lecture last week. और ये सारे concepts उसमें cover हुए थे बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से. So total allowable error is the defined limit और your quality goal जिसके अंदर आपका ऐसे की पूरी परफॉर्मेंस फॉल करनी चाहिए. And who defines those total allowable error? I'll come to that. ISO जो है ISO 15189 what that states is that the lab shall design quality control procedures that verify the attainment of intended quality of results. अब intended quality of results क्या है? Who defines the intended quality? यही आपके total allowable error goals जो हैं, that can be one measure of the intended quality. ठीक है? There are various sources and various limits. Total allowable errors have been defined by various sources, various agencies. And what are these based on? Either the clinical use, that means, for example, HbA1c का clinical use किस तरह का है, कितना narrow होना चाहिए for that assay, particular assay. तो standardization जैसे NGSP committee है, वो इसको define कर सकती है. Biological variation है within an individual, कितना biological variation of an assay, of an analyte, of a measurand exists within an individual, कितना variation हो सकता है. या state of the art, it means जो आपकी जो accrediting bodies है या जो EQA, external quality assurance schemes, जो आपके targets state करती हैं, जो जिस तरह CAP है, ICAS है, RICAS है, जब वो आपको send करता है तो वो किस तरह के आपको टारगेट्स बता रहा होता है कि इसके अंदर आपके वैल्यूज जो है विदिन है और फलां के अंदर आपके आउट है. तो दे डिफाइन सर्टेन लिमिट्स. तो देयर आर नंबर ऑफ लाइक क्लाया हो गया, कैप है, रिकॉस है, बायोलॉजिकल वेरिएशन EFMLF का है. So these are various bodies which have defined different total allowable errors for each analyte. ठीक है? अब कोई नैरो है, कोई वाइड है, which one should you use? CLIA has certain allowable errors. CLIA में पहले 92 के कुछ changes थी. 2019 में fresh they have updated their total allowable errors for the various assays. CAP के अपने हैं benchmarks. So there are different error limits which are available by different organizations. ये, for example, this is just a snapshot of a few assays, and you can see that the allowable errors can be different for each particular analyte based on what you're following. Okay? So which one should you follow? There is no standardized rule या एक consensus नहीं है what you should follow. You can follow multiple for different analytes, or you can just choose one. You can decide which one you want to follow. अब इसका impact क्या होगा? We will see how it as we go on. So total allowable error आपका limits है, आपका margins हैं जिसके अंदर आपका assay रखना है, right? When you perform an assay, it will have a certain amount of the analytical error. आपके performance में there will be some analytical error which you have to measure, and that is composed of basically your random error and your systematic error, right? This makes up your total error. Random error आप किस चीज से determine करते हैं? Again, based on all what you've learned so far, it's your CV. And systematic error is determined by your bias. Glucose का total allowable error, for example, CLIA कहता है that it is 10% or 6 milligram per dl. So आप अगर 50 milligram per dl के concentration पे glucose की बात करेंगे, 50 minus 6 would be 44 and 50 plus 6 is 56. So 44 से 56 milligram per dl glucose के लिए range आ जाए, किसी lab से इतना, किसी lab से इतना, that is falling within your total allowable error for glucose according to CLIA, which says that 10% is acceptable. या अगर आपका for example आपका proficiency testing में है तो according to CLIA इतना range हो सकती है. At 126 milligram per dl, it is again your decision limit. 10% would be equal to from 113 to 138. Now you might or might not agree with this because for you it might be too broad, too wide. So total allowable error का concept यहाँ पर आता है that how wide should you keep it? Should you keep it at the most stringent level and then see whether your assay falls at it or not? या आप इतना stringent कर दें कि वो practically possible नहीं है. So you have to strike. There is no hard and fast rule. कौन सा choose करें? Prior 2019 is the latest one. That is a pretty reasonable set of goals to follow. कि पिछले वालों से tighter हो गए, but they are not very loose also. But you can see at the various limits, and then you can choose your own set and then gradually progress. So this is the concept of total analytical error. True value अगर आपकी, for example, 200 है glucose की, 200 milligram per dl, and you are getting 220 or 210. तो जो इसका difference है from the true value, that is your bias. For example, मैं controls की अगर बात कर रही हूँ, ठीक है? Assuming that control की value जो आपके पास आ रही है वो true value है. तो अगर आपकी target value ये थी, जितना आपके पास एक persistent drift आ गया, वो आपका bias हो गया, जो आपका difference है from the true value. और अब उस true value के around भी, that is your mean, but there is going to be dispersion of values when you do your daily QC. ठीक है? तो ये जो आपका dispersion आ रहा है, that is your random error. और ये जो आपका true drift है, ये bias है. Bias is not going to be calculated by your controls. Remember, this is just theoretical explanation कि आपका true value से आप कितना differ करें. Bias is a systematic error. वो आप determine और तरीकों से करेंगे जो अभी आ रहा है आगे. So bias of SD आपकी हो गई. Bias and the random error and the systematic error. सिग्मा कहता है कि ये दोनों को आपको total allowable error limits के within fall करना है. 6 सिग्मा में 6 SDs जो है वो within total allowable error fall करेंगी. ठीक है? So there will be hardly any value which will fall beyond that. और अगर कोई value beyond जाती है तो that is the defect. जिस तरह हमने टैग में डिफेक्ट्स किया था कि जो आउटलायर हैं, इसमें ये डिफेक्ट्स हैं जो आपके 6 सिग्मा के बाहर फॉल कर रहे हैं. ठीक है? अब रैंडम एरर किस तरह से हम डिटरमिन कर रहे हैं? एसडी से और सीडी से. सो दीज वर द टर्म्स व्हिच वाज देयर इन द calculation in the equation for sigma matrix, your SD and your CD. Bias, which is the measurement of the accuracy of the assay or the difference from the true value. True value, again, I will refer to Dr. Amir Ejaz's talk. कि उसमें he also discussed कि bias किस तरह करते हैं, and basically एक आपको experiment की बात ही, which is the mother of all experiments. That was the method instrument, जो आप instrument comparison करते हैं. When you're shifting, when you're doing your validations, आप एक reference method के ऊपर या एक अपने gold standard method जिसको आप consider कर रहे होते हैं आपके lab में, उसके ऊपर you're working on that, and then you're trying to validate or verify a new instrument or a new method. So you will calculate the bias from your previous method. दूसरा तरीका ये होता है कि when you're talking about your proficiency testing, आप उसमें अपने target score से, अपने peer group से compare कर रहे होते हैं, and then you calculate your bias. What was the true value or the best you can get to it, और उससे आपका difference कितना आ रहा है. So that is your bias, and these are two methods by which हम commonly calculate करते हैं bias, because reference method या वो तो हमारे पास उसका access नहीं होता. So initially during installation of a new instrument, we can use the bias on the method comparison studies, or later when the instrument is already in use, bias can be calculated from the proficiency testing. ठीक है? अब एक चीज important है that both bias and CV की जो values हम ले रहे हैं, they should cover the similar ranges. For example, आपने ग्लूकोज के लिए लेवल 2 की वैल्यूज आपने अपने कंट्रोल्स की प्रिसिशन के लिए लिया है. सो द बायस की भी जो रेंजेस, जो प्रोफिशिएंसी टेस्टिंग के जो आपने वैल्यूज ली हुई, वो सिमिलर टू दैट होना चाहिए. आइदर द बायस वैल्यू शुड बी सिमिलर टू द वंस व्हिच आर यूजिंग इन योर कंट्रोल्स, और फिर आप एवरेज टोटल बायस से करें. एंड द सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज कि फॉर एग्जांपल आपके पास डिफरेंट लेवल्स के ऊपर आप कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, तो मेडिकल डिसीजन लिमिट्स जो है वो जरूर उसको में कंसिडर होनी चाहिए। जैसे ग्लूकोज की हमने बात की, हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया वाली 50 या 40 की वैल्यू है या 126, एंड यूजुअली कंट्रोल्स आर बेस्ड एट द मेडिकल डिसीजन लिमिट। तो गोल आपका QCs में क्या होता है? When you're doing your internal QCs, गोल आपके ये होता है कि you should be able to detect your errors before the clinicians do। यानी आपको कंप्लेंट्स आए या पेशेंट के लिए कोई एक क्रिटिकल पॉइंट बन जाए, उससे पहले आपको लैब में आपके QCs आपको डिटरमिन कर देना चाहिए कि आपके जो अगर किसी में कोई ड्रिफ्ट या चेंज आ रहा है, so you should be able to detect those changes before the clinical level। and secondly, false alarms भी नहीं होनी चाहिए कि आप unnecessarily आप alerts मिल गए, आप उसको वर्कअप कर रहे हैं एंड एक्चुअली रिपीट करने पे भी वो आ रहा है या कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा। so false rejections minimize करने, but you should be able to detect change in your performance। so ये balance strike करना है कि reliably detect change in performance and minimize the frequency of false rejections। so this is our daily practice कि हम QCs run कर रहे होते हैं, हमने determine किया होता है कितने QCs हमें run करने हैं, कंट्रोल मटीरियल्स हमारे होते हैं, मीन SDs हम निकालते हैं, हम SJ charts बनाते हैं, we analyze what controls are within the range, which are outside, we take the appropriate action and we document। what we have to do is we have to do the right QC। मीन्स कौन से कितने QCs हमें रन करने हैं, कितने फ्रीक्वेंसी से करने हैं, क्या रूल्स हमें फॉलो करने हैं, वी हैव टू डिटरमिन दैट and then continue with our practice। LIA जो है that states that for quantitative assays आपको minimum you should run 2 control materials of different concentrations per day, and for qualitative you should use a negative and a positive control material per day, ठीक है, per day of use whenever you're doing that assay। so LIA की minimum requirement ये है, but some labs go to the minimum, and just because ये minimum requirement है, they would continue with this for all assays। It means do 2 levels of controls per day for all assays, or certain labs would go to the maximum, they would do for example 2 levels of controls or 3 levels of controls every shift, ठीक है। लेकिन ये हम as a lab की policy में हम define कर देते हैं कि इस तरह करना है, but what should be the basis and should you use the same combination for all the tests? We said that we want to have high error detection, we want to have low false rejection, and of course cost also matters because QC का भी एक cost होता है। We don't want to have unnecessary cost, but at the same time we don't want to compromise patient quality। bracketed QC का एक concept CLSI में है जिसमें कहते हैं कि you have your controls before and after a run। for samples जो एक पर्टिकुलर रन डिफाइन होता है कि जिसमें आप अज्यूम करें कि आपकी एक्यूरेसी प्रिसिशन सही रहेगी, मेंटेन रहेगी, तो QCs बिफोर एंड आफ्टर का एक कॉन्सेप्ट है कि ब्रैकेट QC हो। अब इन सब से पहले आपको ये डिटरमिन करना पड़ेगा कि आपके ऐसे की क्वालिटी क्या है, ठीक है। ऐसे की क्वालिटी के लिए जैसे हमने सिग्मा की बात की, एक तो आप पूरा कैलकुलेशन है, कैलकुलेशन से आप सिग्मा निकालेंगे, और विजुअली भी आप देख सकते हैं कि आपने if you've gone through some articles on sigma metrics, you must have seen these method decision charts। on x-axis you have the imprecision as a percentage of the total allowable error, and the y-axis you have your bias। और अगर आप मल्टीपल चार्ट्स को एक साथ ले लें तो ये आपके बन जाते हैं सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स के चार्ट्स बन जाते हैं। अगेन ये आपका वेस्टगार्ड से ही है, दिस इज हाउ इट्स प्लॉटेड। फॉर एग्जांपल आपने टेस्ट या एनालाइट लिखा, आपने उसका यू राइट द एरर, कि आपका एरर कितना है इसमें, राइट। टोटल अलाउबल एरर आपका फॉर एग्जांपल ग्लूकोज का 10% था, आप देख लें बायस आपका 2% है, 3% है, व्हाटएवर। और इम्प्रेसिशन कितनी, इम्प्रेसिशन आपकी निकलती है आपकी डेली कंट्रोल से, मंथली कंट्रोल्स जो आप रन कर रहे हैं उसकी आखिर में जो आपने एसडी या सीवी निकाली, दैट इज योर सीवी. बायस इज जो आपका प्रोफिशिएंसी टेस्टिंग से once your test is on or before that it is your validation studies. बायस आपने निकाला कि बायस कितना है और आपने निकाला सीवी कितनी है, and this will plot the sigma matrix on this. अगर मैं बायस को example 4 कर देती हूँ, so you can see that the essay is falling right. अब ये क्या शो कर रहा है, ये allowable imprecision है और ये allowable inaccuracy है within the total allowable error. और ये lines हैं, this line and beyond are your 6 sigma essays, this is 5 sigma essays, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, और beyond this ये आपके unacceptable essays हो जाते हैं. और आपने जब अपना बायस और सीवी डाला तो ये आपको विजुअली एक टूल दे देता है कि आप अपना ऐसे की सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स देख सकते हैं कि कहाँ लाई कर रहा है. These are all freely available tools on the Westcard website.
Madam, we are not able to see the graphs which you're telling.
Okay, I'll show you. Can you see now?
No, madam. Can you please unshare and share your screen?
Now can you see? Can you see now?
No, madam. We are not able to see your screen.
Now? Is it visible now?
Yes, madam. It's visible now.
Okay. इससे पहले का visible था? Could you hear me before that and see my slides?
Yes, madam. We were just looking the slides, but not graph.
Achha, okay. So this is again a calculator from the Westcard site, and you can calculate your sigma matrix and also visually see where it lies on this graph. This is the total, this is the imprecision of your assay, allowed imprecision based on a total allowable error, and this is your inaccuracy or your bias. You can enter your assay specifications here. For example, this is glucose, date, whatever. You can put your total allowable error, glucose ka 10% hai, bias you can put anything, 3 or 4, whatever is your bias from your proficiency testing or from your method validation, imprecision according to your QCs, which you are doing. Okay, and this will calculate your sigma matrix. This will calculate visually आपका ऐसे किस क्वालिटी का है. This is the 6 sigma and this is the 2 sigma. ठीक है, ये आपका ऐसे की रेंज बता देगा कि कहाँ पे आपका ऐसे फॉल कर रहा है. Right, so you can calculate visually, you can plot visually on that chart. This is a screenshot of the same thing जो मैं आपको explain कर रही हूँ glucose का. And a normalized method decision is जिसमें आप सारे plots अपने एक साथ कर लें. This goes on a scale from 0 to 100. Your bias as a percentage of total allowable error and your CV is a percentage of total allowable error, and you can plot all your assays on this. These lines are the sigma lines. This is the world class or the 6 sigma assay, and this is the unacceptable side 2 sigma. And you have these various ranges 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. ये जैसे आप ये देख रहे हैं, ये हमारा अपना actual है when we did for our assays at the time of comparing our instruments at the time of shifting. So अब ये सब calculation आपने कर ली, sigma matrix आप Excel की sheet पे अपना CV और वो maintain करके आपने calculate कर लें, आप ये graph से कर लें. The point is that you should be able to, what is the use of doing this? आपने ऐसे quality monitor की, and now the next step is that you should be able to base your selection of QC rules on this. And Westcard has given a set of rules जो एक ट्रेडिशनल रूल्स थे जिसको हम सब फॉलो करते हैं, उसके बाद वेस्टगार्ड ने वेस्टगार्ड सिग्मा रूल्स ही बताया कि आप अगर ऐसे की क्वालिटी सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स निकालें तो उसके बेसिस पे यू कैन मॉडिफाई योर रूल्स. यू डोंट हैव टू यूज वन सेट ऑफ रूल्स फॉर ऑल योर एसेज. The sigma matrix provides a universal benchmark for process performance. Accreditation की requirement नहीं है, ठीक है. This is just an additional tool which you can use, लेकिन ये practical है, easy है. आप ऑलरेडी सीवीज निकाल रहे होते हैं, ऑलरेडी आप अपना प्रोफिशिएंसी टेस्टिंग कर रहे होते हैं, आपके पास बायस आप निकाल सकते हैं. तो एक सिंपली आपको एक फॉर्मूला एक्सेल में डाल के आपको अपने एसेज की परफॉर्मेंस आप देख सकते हैं. So on the basis of that, you can optimize your QC rules, your frequencies, and your runs. और कोई additional expense नहीं है, सिर्फ आपको थोड़ा सा time चाहिए calculation के लिए. So this is the Westgard sigma rules. Actually इसके बहुत सारे nomograms और graphs हैं कि किसके basis पे ये चीज determine हुई है. But that is more complex. Westgard has made it easy and summarized the basic information in this chart. The way to follow is कि आपका ऐसे 6 सिग्मा से लेके फॉर एग्जांपल 3 सिग्मा तक जा रहा है. आपका ऐसे अगर 6 सिग्मा लेवल पर आप यू टेक दिस एरो, यू गो अप, ठीक है, और यू गो टर्न दिस वे. अब आपको कौन सा रूल देखना है? अगर आपका ऐसे वर्ल्ड क्लास है, ठीक है, योर ऐसे सो प्रिसाइज कि एसडी कितनी नैरो है, 6 एसडीज आर फॉलोइंग विद इन द टोटल अलाउबल एरिया. यहाँ आप 2 एसडी कहते हैं, 3 एसडी में 99.7, there are hardly any defects. 3.4 defects per million opportunities approximately. ठीक है, so almost world class, almost your SD is so narrow and your essay is so precise, plus उसमें bias भी नहीं है, जब भी तो इतना इसका quality world class हुई है. So for an essay which is of such a good quality, all you need to do is to follow the 1-3S rule. You don't need to follow any other rule, and you just need to run 2 controls a day. In one run, 2 controls in one run, और run की size क्या है? 1000 patient samples. So 1000 patient samples पर 2 controls at different levels और 1-3S rule. ये वेस्टगार्ड का अपना modification है to his previous rules. So this does not mean that you do it for all the assays. This means that you monitor the sigma of your assay, you do the risk assessment, you see what errors were there in all your assays. The assays which have this best quality, उनके लिए you can afford to reduce your QCs. ठीक है. Similarly, अगर कोई 5 sigma पर है, तो you still need 2 controls in one run, but the run size will be 450 samples. That means around 500-450 samples के ऊपर आप 2 controls use कर रहे होंगे, and you will be monitoring 1-3S के अलावा 2-2S और R4S का भी आप रूल फॉलो करेंगे. आई होप यू मस्ट बी ऑल फेमिलियर विद दिस रूल्स. इसी तरह अगर 4 सिग्मा पे आपका ऐसे है, तो योर पेशेंट नंबर ऑफ पेशेंट्स जो आप कंट्रोल के बीच में रन कर रहे हैं, जो आपका रन साइज है वो मजीद कम हो रहा है, 200, एंड नाउ यू नीड 4 कंट्रोल्स. ठीक है, एंड 4-1S रूल जो है वो भी आपके लिए अभी फॉलो करना है आपको. तो इस तरह ये पूरा उसने वेस्टगार्ड है सजेस्टेड how you can modify your rules, QC rules, based on the performance of your assay. ये वही चीज चार्ट फॉर्म में है कि 6 सिग्मा का ऐसे हो तो you just need to do the 1-3S rule and 1 कंट्रोल आपके 2 होंगे और 1000 पेशेंट सैंपल्स के ऊपर आपकी QC की फ्रीक्वेंसी होगी. इसी तरह अगर 5 सिग्मा है तो you will be following all these rules. You will again have 2 controls and the controls will be run per 450 patient samples. अगर इतना बुरा हो गया कि 2 sigma and below है, तो फिर you will do all your Westgard rules, you will do everything, and you will have to increase your QC frequency to every 10 patients. तो बेसिकली रिस्क असेसमेंट ये कि आपका ऐसे जितना अच्छा है उतने आप कॉस्ट सेविंग के ऊपर जा सकते हैं along with some other measures. और अगर आपका ऐसे पुअर है तो you would be doing more and more controls and being more cautious. ठीक है, and point सिर्फ cost saving नहीं है, you have to do risk assessment also. कि जहाँ पे आपका लग रहा है कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकते हैं, पूरा एनालिटिकल प्रोसेस, आप पूरा टेस्टिंग प्रोसेस देख रहे हैं, उसमें रिस्क असेसमेंट करके आप इस चीज को इंश्योर कराएंगे. कोई सीनियर इस पर डिसीजन लेगा और उसके साथ आप एडिशनल मेजर्स कर सकते हैं to ensure that you have a safe QC, जो जैसे patient based real time QC है, जिस पे हमने last year भी workshop ली थी, और भी I think रोश की तरफ से भी एक next month आने वाली है. So उसमें patient based real time QC में आप statistical QC के अलावा you're monitoring other things. For example, आपके moving averages हो गए, delta checks हो गए, just another topic, but you're using additional tools to measure your performance. When you're reducing your, दोनों cases, when you're reducing your QC for a good assay, even then you will use these additional tools. And when you have a poor assay, when you know that the bias and the precision both are not good, so you can also use these real-time QCs, patient-based real-time QCs to improve your monitoring of that. अच्छा, measurement of uncertainty is a term जो ISO के लिए हमें बहुत ज़्यादा जिसमें मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, and we have to determine the measure of uncertainty. वो accreditation requirement है. Total error और sigma matrix उसको वो नहीं करेगा आपको. It cannot be used instead of that. They are both separate measurements. Measurement of uncertainty accreditation requirement है. There is some debate as to which is used where. लेकिन दोनों के अपने फायदे नुकसान आते हैं. Measurement of uncertainty is a must which you have to determine for your ISO. उसकी calculation is more cumbersome. She will have to keep a separate lecture for that. As opposed to that, total error and sigma matrix is easier. Measurement of uncertainty के कुछ हमारे पास बहुत ज़्यादा clear cut benchmarks नहीं है कि इसके beyond अगर जाए तो आपको क्या करना है, क्या rules follow करने हैं, what action should you take. As opposed to the sigma matrix के लिए आपके पास कुछ guidelines हैं that if your assay is falling at a particular level, what corrective action you can take. So this is the summary. Sigma matrix is a tool to objectively measure the quality of a process. It can be calculated by the defects per million opportunities or via sigma metric formula in analytics. Sigma metric calculation uses three major variables: the total allowable error, CV, and the bias. Choice of total allowable error is yours. You can use whatever you want, but you have to see कि आप किस वजह से वो use कर रहे हैं, because the aim is to improve your quality. Aim is not to come up with brilliant sigmas. So कितना आप narrow रख रहे हैं, कितना wide रख रहे हैं. Whenever you read any article on sigma matrix, you should see the total allowable error उन्होंने कितना रखा था, किस level के ऊपर वो sigma calculate किया गया, because the level is also important. Or basically that's all I have to say. This basic reference जो है वो Westcard ही है मेरे इसका presentation का. And if you have any questions. If you have any questions, please.
Madam, can you please see the chats? There are the questions in the chats.
We didn't even see the calculation slide. अभी आपको नजर आ गई? अभी भी कुछ मिस किया है? Should I go back to the calculations? दोबारा मैंने show कर दिया था.
Yes, madam, we were able to see when you did.
I showed two calculations. एक Google पे मैंने दिखाया था, एक Westcard की site के ऊपर calculations दिखाए थे. this. So let me see. Can you see this?
Yes, madam.
Can you see these calculations? So ये मैंने पहले रखा था defects के, for example, जब हम TAT calculate कर रहे थे, were you able to see this at that time?
No, madam. This screen was not. We were not able to see.
This is again Westgard site. जैसे ये defects आपके TAT में या critical results की information में जो आपके different processes हैं, उसमें you can write the numerator कि आपके कितने defects थे. For example, 20 tests आपके range से बाहर TAT beyond थे और आपके total tests 1000 आए थे या 10,000 आए थे. So it will calculate your sigma of your process. ठीक है. और इसी वेस्ट कार्ड पे मैंने आपको बताया था कि क्यू प्रोब्स भी इसने दिए हुए हैं कि जो कि आपका सर्वे हुआ था क्यू प्रोब्स का 2000 का पुराना है कि उसमें इस तरह के प्रोसेसेस में डिफरेंट लैब से कितने सिग्मास हो रहे थे विच इक्वेटेड टू हाउ मेनी डिफेक्ट्स पर मिलियन. ये वेस्ट गार्ड की साइट है. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट आर द अदर क्वेश्चंस? वेस्ट गार्ड साइट कैलकुलेशन मैंने दिखा दिए है आपको. Now this question I don't understand what you're saying. Y shape, X shape. I don't understand this question. If you could please read out the questions. I can't see anyone. Any other question on this chart?
Madam, someone asking. There is Naeem Tahir. He's asking, please explain the measurements of uncertainty.
No, that requires a full lecture. It cannot be done like this. It's a complex calculation and there's a concept to it as well. So it cannot be just done like that. I would request Arshi that if she has a slot in this course, that is a very important topic which you should assign to someone. That is a must method of measurement of uncertainty. If you're going for ISO accreditation, you will have to calculate that. Sigma metrics is just for your own process improvement, a very simple, very basic tool. You're doing all the experiments involved in it. You just have to make an Excel sheet and put the formula. No need for the graphs, of course, that's just for visual work. But if you have the calculations in your Excel, it will automatically be calculated. Okay, now let me ask you, how frequently would you calculate the sigma metrics? Because you are basing your QC rules on that. So how frequently would you do the calculations? Sigma metric calculations. Calculation karna is not difficult, right? You have your CV and you have your proficiency testing results. How frequently should you do the sigma metric calculation? Okay, so it's again up to you. Lekin since you're going to make policy decisions, so at least आप 6 monthly या annual करें आप बेशक आप बीच में every month कर लें अगर आपके पास equa every month आ रहा है और अगर आपके पास ज़्यादा gaps आ रहे हैं तो आप उस वक्त कर लें. लेकिन since आपको policy decisions लेने होंगे, QC rules आपको change करने होंगे कि कितने QCs किस frequency से लगाएं, तो बहुत frequent आप lab में इस तरह की policy changes नहीं कर सकेंगे. So you have to have a sustained time. दूसरा, as I said that your proficiency testing में जब आप bias निकाल रहे हैं और CV निकाल रहे हैं तो time period, time frame should be same कि ऐसे की performance आप उसी snapshot time के ऊपर आप judge कर रहे हैं. It's not कि आप CAP के survey results या रिकास के results आप पिछले साल का पूरा जब आपके पास summary आ रही है तब का ले रहे हैं और CV आप आज के date में ले रहे हैं. इस तरह नहीं होना चाहिए. Should be across the same time zone, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, जो भी आपने निकाला हुआ है. और दूसरा टोटल allowable error भी मैंने बताया कि there are different sources. You can choose the one which suits you most. CLIA 19 is a good option and you can also choose a combination. For example, HbA1c के लिए या आप जो कोलेस्ट्रॉल वगैरह के लिए NGS, HbA1c के लिए NGSP ले लें, कोलेस्ट्रॉल के लिए NCP का ले लें. So that is an option you can do. Biological variations के जो goals हैं वो they are also very much recommended. Clinical chemistry में they are tighter than CLIA. Immunoassay में CLIA rules are tighter. CLIA 19 is definitely better than CLIA जो 92 के थे. Any other?
If anybody wants to ask the question, just raise the hand. We can unmute
I
his or
just
mic.
want to know whether you understood the lecture or was it too difficult?
डॉक्टर फातिमा वेरी गुड लेक्चर और बहुत अच्छा, यानी कि सीखने को एक नई चीज़ जो है, जो हम जो है सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स एक बहुत बड़ा सा लगता था कि पता नहीं कोई क्या चीज़ है, तो उससे जो है अवेयरनेस, जहाँ तक जो है पार्टिसिपेंट्स का वो है कि भाई आपको एक्सरसाइज, ये आपको एक्सरसाइज जो है 1 आवर क्लास में, ये तो आज सिर्फ सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स की अवेयरनेस कि सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स की एप्लीकेशंस क्या हैं, क्या जो सिग्मा मैट्रिक्स है क्या, ठीक है। तो अब जो है अगर हमारे पास इस कोर्स में टाइम हुआ तो हम इसको ना प्रैक्टिस बेस्ड सेशन एक रख लेंगे कि वो आपको जो है अवेयर करवा दें। अच्छा, अब नाउ आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट टू डॉक्टर आमिर एजाज, बिकॉज इफ डॉक्टर फातिमा अलाउड, बिकॉज
Yes, sure. Yes, please continue.
Dr. Amir is with us. Please, sir, comment on this lecture and share your knowledge and experiences with us. So please unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Archie. I have no words to appreciate the talk by Dr. Fatma Ganani. I have heard at least 2 foreign speakers speaking on this Sigma matrix, QC in Sigma matrix. Once in Lahore, we invited a guest speaker, IFCC guest speaker, and she spoke very well. But I really tell you, the understanding which Dr. Fatma has given is much, much better than that foreign speaker. So you are my teacher now, Dr. Fatma. So very, very nicely explained, because you came down to the level of students and tried to explain it. But as you said yourself, said that it is very difficult, and Dr. Archie also supported this point of view, that it is very difficult to master such a complicated topic in one lecture, and that too online lecture.
Yes, definitely.
You
It's a-
cannot
I try to
replace.
summarize
Yes,
all the
yes,
important
but
points.
I tell you, there is no substitute for a board and a marker.
Of
I
course.
got an itch always to to take a marker and go to the board and explain right from the beginning what are the things are, and we miss that whiteboard and marker or blackboard and a chalk. So, but anyhow, it is much useful than not doing anything during this period of pandemic. Uh, Sigma metrics is a very important topic. We have been teaching it right from the for many years, for at least 7 years, and I just want to tell the dear students, there are a lot of them present at the moment, that there is a terminology, as Dr. Fatma told us, of Six Sigma, which came from industry. Which industry? You will astonish to know, from airline industry, because in airline you cannot afford even one accident per year. If you say PIA plane crashes every year, once every year, so you would you accept it? No, it you will not. It is not acceptable. In United States, when I heard this talk of Sigma metric, it was from a pilot uh, uh, in a patient safety conference, and he said that after 2001, in 2001, he actually landed his aircraft in a river, Hudson River, near New York, and since then he's a hero, because there was no casualty in that incident. So there is no major accident after 2001 in the United States, although there are thousands of flights. I'm talking of pre-pandemic pandemic era. So from that, it, it came to Japan. In Japan, in industries, they are very meticulous, and they want errorless things. So then we borrowed in the laboratories, and please don't confuse it that Westgard is not using the same sigma metrics which Dr. Fatma told in the Google, from Google. That is for all the errors, for any errors in the laboratory, as he gave the example of TAT, turnaround, error in the turnaround time, error in any pre-analytical errors, or some transcription errors. So you will note it. And you have in many institutes you run programs of Six Sigma. For example, in Aachen, they have got a program of Six Sigma, and you train people in Six Sigma. Since it came from Japan, the ranking of the people who are expert in Six Sigma is in terms of belts, white belt, and yellow belt, and red belt, and black belt. The champion who is master of Six Sigma is said to be having a black belt. So that is a full-fledged system, and that is for a whole of the laboratory processes. But very interestingly, Westgard has coined an innovation in his own rules, because sometimes what was the need of doing this? Because people were saying that it is getting too much stringent when you apply all the 6 rules, 5 rules in all the laboratory tests. So there is no need of it. And practically, especially in our country, people don't bother about such rules, and they just follow that stupid ranges. If the control material is in the range, it is okay. So for that consideration, Westgard innovated these sigma metrics. So it is not like Six Sigma. It is something else. It is it is based on your bias, as Dr. Fatima very nicely told you. Bias is accuracy on the y-axis, and x-axis on axis is the SD, which is a measure of the imprecision. So in between these two, you if your bias is very low and your CV is also very low, SD is very low, then you fall on a good sigma metrics. That means highest is 6, and then 5, then 4, 3, 1. So if you are doing you're falling on a higher sigma, for example, if you are falling on 5, you will follow only 1 or 2 rules. That is a simple thing. So please, you have to learn it, because inshallah one day we will be applying it in our own labs also. So that's all I want to say. Excellent talk. And you suggested that measurement of uncertainty, I will suggest a name of Dr. Sahar Iqbal from DAW, because we published an article in JPMA a few years ago about uncertainty of measurement, and she was the main principal investigator for that study. So I think Dr. Achi, please invite her to talk about this. And this, as Dr. Fatma said, it is a very important topic. Thank you very much. Dr. Achi, that's all from my side.
Hello.
Yes, madam, we can hear you.
Yes. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Dr. Fatma. And sir, I noted your comments, and I will invite Dr. Sahar for measurement of uncertainty lecture. And thank you all of participants, speakers, and guest speaker, Dr. Amir Jas. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Madam, should we end the lecture now?
Yes, this is end of the lecture.
Thank
So
you.
interrupted the time, so that's why.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.